Let's now take a closer look at the imperative mood. Imperatives have several different functions. They can show commands. They can also be entreaties or pleas. And at times they can even imply a condition. Ask and you will receive. That is, if you ask, then you will receive. If you'll turn in your grammar to page 3-46, you'll see the various forms of the imperatives. Notice that there are only two tenses in the imperative mood, either the present or the aorist. There are not that many imperative endings, so it's not that difficult a mood to learn. Also notice that there is no first-person imperative. What Greek would do if you want to issue a command or an exhortation in the first person is to use a hortatory subjunctive. The present active imperative ending, the second person singular ending, is an epsilon, lue. The third person singular ending is a to. And you see your epsilon connecting vowel. Look at the second person plural. This is the easiest of the imperatives to recognize. It looks just like the indicative. You see your second person plural ending te, and there's your connecting vowel epsilon, luete. The third person plural is not that frequent, luetosan, or it can also be spelled luonton, which would be a carryover from classical Greek. Looks like a participle, doesn't it? Let's now look at the first aorist active imperative. Remember we had seen the word in our Jesus prayer, eleison. Well, here is the ending son, luson. That's your second person singular, active imperative for the aorist tense. Your third person singular, there's the to on the end of the imperative. You see in the first aorist a sigma tense indicator and an alpha connecting vowel, lusato. Look at the second plural. Again, how similar it is to the indicative mood, except there's no augment, is there? Because time is not an element in the imperative mood. In the imperative mood, everything is future-oriented. The ending te, second person plural, and our sigma alpha indicating first aorist, lusate. Don't worry about the third plural. As I said, these are not that frequent. Let's look at the second aorist. Here I'm using the verb lambano because luo does not have a second aorist form. And we know that the aorist stem of lambano is the stem lab. Outside of the indicative, the second aorist will use the same endings as the present tense. So you see the epsilon on the end for your second person singular, labe. The third person singular imperative, the ending is to. And there's your connecting vowel. Remember in the second aorist, no sigma tense indicator and no alpha connecting vowel, labeto. And the second person plural, there's your second plural ending. The only difference between this form and the indicative is that there's no augment for the imperative, labete. One of the things that Greek has that English does not is a third person imperative. English only has a second person imperative. You do something. So somehow or other we must be able to translate a Greek third person imperative into English. And in just a moment we'll look at a piece of scripture which will help us to do that.